Hi guys, Goat Mom here. We're going to answer a few of your questions from the community tab. Take a minute now to go to the community tab, check it out. There's going to be questions every week for you to answer. Please do so. It's a really good place to get advice. And it also has the link to the Discord where you can get more advice and find some really good friends. Milo's about to jump in the picture.
And there he is.
All right, I wanted to do this one because obviously it speaks to my heart. My mom has COVID and I'm a little worried. I don't have it yet and she only has minor symptoms. I'm still worried. I know your family has been through COVID, so it would be nice to get some advice for people who have had it, from people who have had it. Well, yeah, don't panic first of all, because a lot of our family came down with it and I was the only one that was fatal. Or nearly fatal, I should say. I'm still here, so I'm not a ghost, so it wasn't fatal, but I was the only one that came close to, being really bad. My sister, who completely unrelated to how I got it, because I never see her, I see her like once a year, she ended up with it as well, in the same hospital as me, on the same week actually, but she only got some minor breathing symptoms and they sent her home after like 2 days. So I was the only one there for like 2 weeks. Don't panic. Like I said, a lot of people got it. He got it. My 87-year-old dad got it. We're almost positive Night Cove had it because she had the symptoms as well, but hers was just like sinuses and yours was kind of like achy.
Dry cough and aches.
Yeah. So hopefully that's all your mom will get. Keep an eye on it, and for anyone out there, just make sure that the most important thing in my opinion is staying hydrated, drink water, and watch your oxygen. My mistake was I didn't realize how bad that was, and my oxygen was at like 82 for like 4 or 5 days before I went, oh, I should go to the hospital. So don't do that. So check your oxygen. That's my biggest tip, I guess. But
I feel like every week that passes, they have a better grasp of how to treat it, how to recognize symptoms, how to apprise the health of the people who have it. I have a lot of faith in the hospital system. Goat Mom went in for 11 days and they did a fantastic job with her. She's a fighter, of course, but she did really well. I understand the fear. You just have to keep a positive outlook, and like Goat Mom said, just mind your health like you normally would, except for maybe, be a little more diligent about drinking water to help get anything through your system. Hydration is definitely key. Pay attention to your breathing, and that's pretty much it. And I think that you'll be able to get through it.
the nurses told me a good thing to do, and again, talk to your own doctor, but the nurses told me a great thing to do is zinc and vitamin C and Pepsid, and what was the other one? Do you remember? There was another one. It was like a vitamin of some sort. But anyway, it's like this magical combination that keeps inflammation of your lungs away and inflammation out of your body, and zinc helps your body not duplicate viruses. Again, talk to a professional, and make sure don't take too much of anything. Moderation, of course, so always read labels and such. Okay guys, so here is the pulse, I can never say it.
Pulse oximeter.
Yeah, what he said. And you can get these for less than $20, I think, US American dollars in most areas. I got mine at Walgreens. You can get it on Amazon or wherever online. It's just a little thing that clips to your finger like this, and I'll bring it a little closer. Here's your oxygen, and that's your heart rate. So your oxygen should be above 90.
Pops up at 86. Oh my God!
You gotta go to the
start
hospital.
freaking out. What are you doing?
If you have asthma or whatever, it's going to be a little lower, but as long as it's above 90, I think that's a good number. But of course, check with your health professional on those stats and what works best for your body, because everyone's different. But in my case, it was at 82 for several days, and that's how I knew I was in big trouble. So if you have one of these in your home, good idea, because you can check that. If you're sick and you're feeling a little congested, or even if you don't feel congested, check your oxygen once in a while. I didn't feel congested at all. I did not know I was at 82. If I had had one of these and I had known that sooner, I would have been better off. So.
And the primary concern there is you end up developing pneumonia, and that's a good indicator that you're not getting enough oxygen. Even if you feel like you're breathing, which Goat Mom did, she was able to breathe just fine, but her body wasn't processing the oxygen.
So just keep an eye on that, and definitely have a doctor check it if anything's fishy. All right. Hello.
Hi,
How are you
Nicole.
feeling?
Hi.
Okay, next question is, my father's a stickler for good grades. Anything under 95 is a fail, and when I fail, he screams, or when I miss an assignment, he screams. Okay, so, and then it goes on to say a few other things about being ADD and having depression and anxiety. Clearly, I would too. And 'cause I had that problem too with my dad, by the way. And that I know there's no threat because he doesn't hit me. I'm not abused, but it scares me and I still don't know what to do. First of all, if you're being screamed at, that is abuse to some degree. And that's what you all should know, is that if you're not being treated with dignity and respect, you have the right to tell someone, or at least have a conversation with your parents and tell them that that's how you feel. If they don't reciprocate the conversation, then you can take it higher than them, over their heads. As far as grades go, I had the same problem. My dad was very upset at anything less than a B, and even a B I got a hard time for. I got in a lot of trouble. So 95 and above is wonderful, but anything above 90 is an A. So first of all, I don't see why that's a problem, and second of all, you're doing your best, I'm sure.
Exactly, I was just gonna say, as long as you're doing your best, then that's all anybody can ask of you. If your parent, whether it's your father or your mother, are holding you to some unattainable standard for some reason, then that's on them. And while I know that probably doesn't help you feel any better about it, just know that is for your own personal sanity. If you're giving it your best, then you should be proud of that. Eventually, hopefully, your parents will come around and understand that, you know, as long as you're trying your hardest, then that's the best any parent can hope. Of course, it's a different story if they think that you could probably apply yourself more, or that you're just slacking off. Then I can see where they may feel like, well, maybe, you know, you should be getting better grades if you sat down and studied more or did whatever. But like Goat Mom said, I'm sure that you're giving it your best shot. And that's all anybody can ask. I am sorry that your parents are, conveying to you that they're not happy with your ability. You've heard me say in other videos, I believe that parental support is something that is absolutely expected from parents to give their kids. So I can see where it would be depressing or create a lot of anxiety if you feel like you're not meeting your parents' expectation. To let them know that, you're feeling inadequate because of it.
Yeah, I would definitely say have a meeting with your parents. Whichever parent is more receptive, have a meeting. Approach that parent and say, hey, can you talk to dad and ask him if we can sit down and have a meeting? Or talk to your dad and say, can I have 20 minutes of your time later tonight? I just want to talk to you about a few things, and let them know you're having anxiety, or it makes your ADHD worse. It gives you a lot of anxiety when you put that amount of pressure on me, and it's too much. I'm doing my very best. Is there a way that I can sit down and show you that I'm applying myself? Like, if I sit down every day at 4 o'clock and do a half hour of studying and a half hour of homework, then you'll see that I'm applying myself. Will that allow you to ease off of me a little bit and give me a break? And if I show you I'm really trying, can you not apply so much pressure on me? And then I'm still going to get the highest grade I can, but I can't always get perfect A's. Nobody's perfect. Nobody is. And sometimes parents try to put on you what they wish they had done, or what they wish they could do, or maybe what they did do. Maybe they got perfect A's, but you don't have to be like that. You might not be like that. You might not learn in the same way they did. So don't get down on yourself and get depressed about that, because you will learn and achieve your own grades in your own way.
And I think that every parent wants their child to do better than they did. So it may be coming from a place like that, but obviously it's coming out in the wrong way. It's coming out more like disappointment or an expectation that you're not meeting, and that's not the right way to approach it. I mean, if your parents are truly just wanting you to be better than they are, or do better than they are, or just do your best, then again, you need to just figure out a way to sit and make them see that this is what you're trying to achieve your best. and that they need to make adjustments on their expectations and not make you feel bad. You may hit 100% or 95%, 95% of the time. And if they're taking time to point out the times that you don't, then maybe you should try to shift their focus to all of the times that you are, doing as awesome as they expect, and tell them that, I can't be that person all of the time.
And maybe tell them, can you please change your approach? Can you not scream at me? Screaming at me is counterproductive for me. Screaming at me makes me feel bad and makes me do worse because then I'm in my head too much. Could you approach me in a kind manner and give me your ideas in a kind manner? If they're reasonable, then you listen to them. And if they're out of the normal realm, like I said, no one can get 100% all the time or 98% all the time, then convey that to them. You can't always be at that level and not lose your mind, that's a lot. And also know that, like he said, maybe they are coming from a place of love, but their approach is all wrong, or maybe they just, think that that's the way it should be and their approach is still all wrong. So please respect yourself enough to have that conversation, and hopefully they will listen. If they do not, like I said, please talk to someone that can help you. Talk to them or a counselor at school. There are times in life, and I will be doing a video on that, but there are times in life where people out there might have to get somebody else involved if it's very, very bad. So not saying that that's the case in this question, but moving forward, just remember there's always someone out there that can help you. And don't drive yourself crazy over those things, and talk to them, talk to your parents. Do you have anything to say, Night Cove, off camera?
Yeah, I just mean on the parents' behalf, positive reinforcement works a lot better than negative reinforcement. When you're rewarding achievement instead of, punishing things that you think your child has done incorrectly, then your child's going to tend to do better because you want to keep them in a positive mindset, especially when it comes to something like academics that's already very challenging, and it's something the child's going to have to devote themselves to for 18 years plus.
Right.
So it's something you want to keep your child positive about, and a good way to do that is to have positive reinforcement. And rather than screaming at your child for not doing as good as you want them to do, give them constructive feedback. Be a parent. Sit down, help them with their homework, help them study, be involved, because it'll also help the child feel less isolated. Because if you're an only child and you don't have a sibling that's also going through the same experience, or you don't have a friend that's close that's going through the same experience that you can be with a lot, especially right now because of COVID, then, it's important for the parents to be involved and to help out, because I know doing schooling from home is also a completely new challenge. So it's really the time for parents to use positive reinforcement and keep their children in a positive mindset and be more involved in the act of their children getting better grades.
Yeah, exactly.
And to add to what Night Cove said, that's an excellent idea on how to approach. If it's not already the case, see if your parents will spend more time with you doing schoolwork, studying, help them get involved in those things, in the subjects that they may feel like you're not achieving your best attempts at them. So I think that would be a great thing to do, is see if your parents will become more involved if they're not already. That way at least they can see the effort that you're putting forth, and then maybe where you need help in learning, they can also help with that. So focusing on negativity creates anxiety for students, and focusing on the positive things that students do create motivation and desire to learn, and a much better environment, just like what Night Cove said. It also makes it difficult if you feel like you're just going to be scolded for not doing good enough before you even start doing an assignment. It's kind of hard to get into it and want to learn, and some of those parts of your brain may already be trying to process what happens at the end when I only get a 92 and I should have had a 95. So
all right, next question. How did you come up with the idea of making YouTube videos, and how did you come across FNAF? Videos I fell into because I'm always, since the dawn of time, and I was probably 10 years old, I've had people ask me questions like, what do you think I should do here? And I know I've always just been like the mother goose of the world, apparently, and the mother of all souls, apparently. So when Night Cove got into videos, it was great, and I supported her, and she has so much fun. And then we did conventions and all that, and continuously, once she started a fan base, we were still getting questions, and I would get questions, you know, private messages and DMs and such. And I thought, you know, why don't I just put the answers to these questions out there on videos instead of answering one person at a time? If I give these answers, more people can benefit from a little bit of mother advice. You know, I never claim to be a professional at all. It's just my personal experiences and just what I've learned through being a human and being a mom. But it tends to help people, and I just wanted to get that out there in a bigger manner, I guess. So that's how and why I started videos. And how did I come across FNAF? Night Cove and her sister Azza were very much into indie horror games and odd things like Slender Man and stuff like that. And then that kind of snowballed into watching Markiplier play, and then we loved him, and then that turned into, you know, Jacksepticeye playing stuff, and I watched Jack play Undertale, and that's how I fell in love with Goat Mom. And so through all that time period, they showed me FNAF, and I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, it was just a funny concept. It was hard, and it actually made me jump when I played it, and a lot of things don't make me jump. So I was like, okay, I respect that. So I just got into FNAF as much as Night Cove was, and that was her first cosplay too at Comic-Con. So
P.S. Night Cove can make awesome cosplays out of cardboard. I know.
I think you've all seen by now my cosplay video. If not, go watch the cosplay video. And that Foxy that you see in there with us at Comic-Con, that's Night Cove in her very first public appearance at a Comic-Con as a FNAF character. It's your first cosplay ever at a Comic-Con,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Yeah, and that was just like face paint and duct tape.
It's made out of the lid of a shoebox, duct tape, and acrylic paint. I'm pretty sure that's it. Maybe some Sharpie.
So for all of you out there who think you don't have stuff for closet cosplays,
Let's segue into this next question. How can I cosplay like that?
Yeah, literally, if you have materials around in your house that your parents and yourself don't mind cutting up and painting and recycling for cosplay, like that's always a good place to start because it's kind of fun. It kind of teaches you to reuse your resources already around you, so it's kind of a challenge.
Yeah.
But it's also just a good way to build your skill and your creativity and, you know, practice making your own interpretations of what the characters are. So it's really fun. I mean, in terms of not having much around you, there's still, you know, more than you think there is to work with.
You'll get better at it.
And yeah.
There's no wrong answers here.
No, it's like art. It really is. It's kind of just like costume design. Like you can do whatever you want, really. But yeah, there's always a place to start, whether it's a shoebox or whether it's ordering stuff on Amazon. Like there's always an easy place to get started.
Cosplays for every budget, for sure.
and don't be afraid of having something that's less than perfectly matching the character, because for the most part, cosplay community is very accepting and supportive.
Very loving.
And we all love to see everybody's interpretations in their costuming. And we've been blown away by people like Night Cove that were able to take cardboard and create something so awesome out of it. And if it's something that you think you're interested in doing, by all means, go for it.
Even if you have to start out with something in your closet and some paint that you have in your art cupboard or that you get from school, you know, like just go for it, you know, and it doesn't have to be great, and your look's gonna evolve. And we talk about that, I think, in one of our other videos. I don't remember which one, so I'm sorry. Just go watch all the videos. But the cosplay video will show you the progression of our skills as we started out at the beginning, and then, you know, up until the last year that there was cosplay. I mean, that there was Comic-Con, not cosplay. You'll get better. So don't be embarrassed if you can't do what you envision. Just practice getting better and better. It's like playing the violin or you know, practicing how to draw. You get better every time you do it. You get more confidence every time you do it. It's important that you have a support team, hopefully at home, that won't go, why the hell are you wearing that? And if they do, you know what, screw them. You're having fun, you're doing your own thing, you're not hurting anybody. So just have fun with it. Find a community or some people that get into the same things you do, and find that support. And if nothing else, you know, cosplay in your bedroom and take some pictures and, you know, live your best life. All right, we're gonna do one more tonight. I have a question. What can I do to help my family in a hard time when they need my help? Well, it's vague.
I was going to say, that's tough because we don't know what the context of that means.
Help them how, you know?
Liz?
What I would say is I'm gonna come from a point of view, and I'm just gonna assume that maybe you're not working, but you're at an age where you're old enough to understand that they're struggling with something. What you can do is ask them if there's anything you can do that would be helpful. Obviously their answer is going to be age appropriate. You know, if you're 10, you obviously can't go get a job if it has to do with money. If it has to do with just stresses in the house, or maybe an illness in the house, or maybe something they're going through as a couple, all you can do to support them is show them that you care, tell them that you love them, let them know that you're there if they need you for something. But what you can do is just be your best self. That will help. So that means, you know, maybe don't argue if they say, can you walk the dog or take the trash out, or, you know, whatever. I don't know what your age group is. If you're an adult, then, you know, maybe offer to go and cook them dinner once in a while, or, you know, I don't know what the struggle is or what you're wanting to help them with, but being your best self and offering to be there for them and in the capacity that they need, and you can ask them what that is, would be my advice for that question, just because it's kind of vague. I'm not sure what context.
Right, and I would agree with that. And first off, I'd like to say it's admirable that you are even thinking about helping out your parents and your family when you're in a hard time. I think that's fantastic, whether you're a child or an adult. And like Goat Mom said, you know, it's kind of a contextual question, but I think as long as you are your best self at home, you make sure your parents know that you're there to support and love and offer help where help is needed. You know, maybe do the dishes or whatever needs to be done, do an extra chore. And it's not that they expect you to do it, but I think it's very nice in return, and that would be something that I know would help their level of anxiety or whatever it is they may be going through. It's going to give them a good positive feeling. So in that respect, that would help them out for sure.
Yeah, and on the flip side too, now I'm going to play devil's advocate. Like, if they're going through something that might not be any of your business, then respect that. You know, if they're going through something you can't help them with, or they have a really serious problem, like, who knows, it could be drugs and alcohol or something like that. You know, you don't know. If it's something like that, then don't think that you can save them. They're adults, they have to save themselves. So there's some things that you can help with, and there's some things that you cannot help with. So it just depends on what the issue is. The best you can do is keep yourself safe and sane during that time. And some of the other videos have covered those topics, but yeah, just, you know, I think just being you is probably helping them a lot. So there's a second part to this person's question, but I want to answer that one when Night Cove's on screen with us. So I'm going to save your question for the next video. So if you're out there and you know that I just answered your first part of the question, the second part I want to do with Night Cove here, because I think she'll have a lot of very good advice to add to that one. So don't think that I did not see it. I did, and I will answer it in the next video. Is there a way for my siblings to be nicer? I know it's a weird question, but yeah.
Well, obviously, there's probably a way for them to be nicer if they're not being so nice to you. The question I think you're asking is, how can you influence that to happen, right?
Family meeting,
And
first
it depends,
of all.
yeah, family meeting first of all. Siblings traditionally kind of behave poorly to each other as they're growing up, but not all the time, but sometimes. So it all depends on how they're behaving poorly towards you. You know, if they're teasing you a lot or doing things like that and it's hurting your feelings. Again, we've addressed this, or you and Night Cove have. You know, make sure you talk to them and let them know how you feel.
If they're not completely evil little spawns of Satan, and they're just really annoying. It could be that they want time with you and they can't get attention unless they're mean. So maybe try talking to them, saying, look, this hurts my feelings. You know, I don't like it when you do this, but listen to me. How about you and I hang out every day for 15 minutes or whatever, you know, whatever time frame you can give them. Maybe you can give them an hour, but you know, let them have something to look forward to of time with you. And they may pull back that behavior so that they know, ooh, you know, if I'm not a little jerk to my brother or sister, maybe they'll hang out with me later for that 15 minutes or that hour or whatever. And, you know, talk to them about that. Be like, if you are nice to me, I will come hang out with you, you know, at the end of the day or in the morning, whenever's easy for you. Because, you know, you probably have a busy schedule. But, you know, make even 10 minutes every night or something to hang out with them. 20 minutes, half an hour, something that gives them something to look forward to, something that makes them feel loved and that they want to be like you, they want to be close to you. So maybe something that makes them feel bonded with you, because ultimately that's probably what they're craving. And you know, that's your partner in life. When you both get older, your siblings will be there for you, and they've grown up with the same parents you have or lack of parents. So they feel a lot of the same things you're probably feeling. They probably have anger or sadness over some of the same things. So maybe you can talk to them, you know, and bond with them and have some good times with them and tell them that. Say, you know, when we're both older, we could be best friends or we could be enemies, but we got to work on it now. So be nice to me. Maybe that'll work.
That was exactly my little brother's and mine story growing up. He always tried to get into my business, and we would tease each other and sometimes beat each other and do things. And my parents used to always tell me that, you know, someday when we grow older, we're gonna be there for each other, and we're gonna be all we have. So we should start building a relationship in that way. And at the time, I thought that was just ludicrous, because, you know, how are you ever gonna get a hold with a pesky little brother or sibling? But it's true. What Goat Mom says is true. They're the ones that are gonna be there for you in life, and keep that in mind. As bad as they may be with you right now, you're still growing up. You both are still learning. Your emotions are still, you know, developing. So don't try to begrudge them for behaviors as much now. And it did turn out that a lot of the behavior from my little brother was he was seeking attention from me and time with me. And once we grew older and we started spending more time together, you'll start to see that that's actually just a cry out because they really just want to bond with you.
And so, I was the little sibling, by the way. I was the annoying one. And look how good I turned out. I was the
halo.
Annoying, yeah, my halo. Well, let me polish my halo. Gotta push the horns down. There we go. No, but I was the annoying little person, and I used to bug the crap out of my sister, and she hated me, and she was mean too, to be fair. She was very mean, but I'm sure I was annoying. But all I wanted to do is be near her. I didn't even want to do anything specific. I just wanted to be in her room, you know, maybe look at her stuff. I wanted to talk to her and have her talk to me, and she didn't do that very often. And then when she did finally start to do that, when we got a little bit older, I was still pretty small, but she was like in junior high, and she finally started hanging out with me. Like, she dressed me up like in the clown makeup, because she was taking an art class of how to paint your face as a clown, so she'd practice on me and cool stuff like that. And I was like, oh, attention. And then I started treating her better. I didn't realize it at the time, but I was just craving attention from her, and I got really angry and frustrated when she would shut me out of her room and slam the door. It made me feel very unimportant and like I didn't matter to her, and she wouldn't tell me stuff, and I thought, do I even exist? You know, do I even matter? So think about it from someone else's point of view sometimes. When they're talking to you a certain way, it might be that they're hurting, so maybe you could talk to them about that and see if that helps, because that might be all it is.
Yep. Communication is the key, as always.
They might just be evil little spawns, but no, I'm kidding. They're not. They're kids. Kids aren't born evil. Don't listen to William. I go just like spit bubbly water out her nose in the kitchen. Okay, well, we're gonna wrap it up. There's a boat in the
Sorry.
kitchen. It's okay.
All the noises you hear in the background are me. Our house isn't haunted, I promise. It's just me.
Just like making a meal. Okay, I love you guys. We're gonna end it there because I literally have 20 more questions to get through, and I want to make sure that this video isn't 3 hours long. So we'll be back later. I'll bring Night Cove with me, and we'll answer some more of your questions. I love you guys.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. I started saying stay bright. No. Go Mom loves you. I love you guys. Keep those questions coming. See you soon. Bye.